Hello and welcome. It's good to see everybody here for Shaar Hagilgulim, Book of Reincarnations by the Arizal, and I like to call it in my little language, the book of what was the word? What do we call that, Eric? What do we call that? We had a new word for it today. Hold on, let me tell you. Don't you guys go anywhere. Soul exploration. That's what my new term for this class. Gam lefamim. Picking up where we left off. And I don't know what that means. We'll figure it out as we go. Gam lefamim yare sha'achar sh'nis galgo yachid shleishis chilkav naran shelo Veniskanu kulam ki az yisaver bo eze nefesh arosh eze tzadik nizkar. What's that word? Yaera. What is that? Let me see that word. This word, I don't know. Not liking this word. Let me see. What is that word? This is a hard word. Ara. What is that word? Ara. What is that word? Ara. What is that word? Ara. To join, meet, find, strike against. Yeah. To join. Also, sometimes he'll join. We're talking about souls coming in. That after you gilgul together the three parts of Naran, right? For whatever it's worth, you have your nefesh, ruach, and the shama all fixed up in your body right now, type 1. V'nitkanu kulam ki az yisaver bo eze nefesh aruach shel eze tzadik nizkar. All right, you're all fixed up. Everyone feel good? You're fixed up. Hine kishiyapatir mino oilam yachol is alus kafi bechinas at tzadik ahush and is averbo. And now, when you die, God forbid, you will elevate the same aspect of the tzaddik that you have become and that you represent or resemble. V'sham b'olam haba yushneim b'maylam adreachos. You and your doppelganger will be there. V'zeh sod ma'ashikasav or damas bereshis v'sefer zoyer. Shenafel Rav Shimon Bar Yochai al Panav. V'roa is Rav Hanun Saba v'amar lo d'bahu alma yizhaven shchivin yachad. Hu Rav Hanun Saba v'dai v'zeh. How many of you guys have ever heard of the Holy Zohar? Type 1. Type 1. How many of you guys have ever heard of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai? Hello? 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 Okay. How many of you have ever heard of the Hebrew alphabet? Now, here's a trick question. How many of you have ever heard the midrash that God talks to the 22 letters of the alphabet? All right. So the author of that midrash, there's a midrash where God talks to 22 letters. The author of that midrash is in the introduction to the Zohar, and it's authored by a rabbi by the name of Rabbi Hamnuna Saba. And apparently Rabbi Shimon and Rabbi Hamnuna Saba were one similar Gilgul. Okay? V'hinei inyana ibor zehu shtei sabos achas iki al yidei ibor nefesh hatzali v'zeish. Azeh Titukan nefesh ha'isha azeh v'tizdakach. Tiko nefesh ha'isha azeh v'tizdakach. Kedugmas erek nefesh hatzadik ahu v'al yedekach. Tugal aluf v'ayulam above v'dregas milas tzadik ahu kenizkar. He had tzadik ahu ya'azrehu v'yisayhu l'hoisi mitzvahs v'kedushis yisayris v'hinei savazoi he was sorech ha'isha zeh. So one complete tzaddik can help another become a complete tzaddik. Od siba sheni slatoelis tzaddik atzmo he's avir bo ki kevan shu masayil hoisi mitzvahs v'tikunim noitel chelik behem v'zeh masha amruzal gedoylan tzaddikim shafila b'misasam zoichin lebanim v'o ki hu mazacha el ha'isha zeh v'nasalo. Another guy was not on the level, but a tzaddik got him on the level, and they both got to the same place because the tzaddik helped the other guy. So there's two ways it can happen. V'da ki had tzaddik hazeh kivan sheneknas bolisayel b'chaim chiyuso b'sod ha'ibor kenizkar. The low was so Gilgal. So one guy, he had the tzaddik come into him to help him in his lifetime and not in a Gilgal. L'cheinu karov l'schar v'rochok l'hefsid. The tzaddik coming in is an instant winner, and it's very hard to lose. Ki im ha'isha zeh ya'aseh mitzvahs. He's only doing it for the sake of helping the guy with mitzvahs. No tel chelik b'scharo. He takes a portion of the reward. V'zeh so masha amruzal ki had tzaddik noitel chelko v'chelek haveru began eden v'aven so ha'amuk hazeh ve'in asa eis larich boy. So the tzaddik that comes in your lifetime, it's all good for him and it's all good for you. However, im yorishia yishazeh, but the host is interested in being a sinner. So, you are a wicked person, and you have one little thing you do good, and it's called Rabbi Akiva-ism. And Rabbi Akiva-ism draws Rabbi Akiva into your soul, and you and Rabbi Akiva do really great Rabbi Akiva-ism. And while you're not engaged in Rabbi Akiva-ism, you're into stealing-ism. So Rabbi Akiva does not suffer your punishment on stealing-ism, but you both benefit from Rabbi Akiva-ism. Type 1. Jacques, that leaves you. Where are you at? There you go. Yarkiu ainano misavir bo ragli heti velav velola ralo anarabi ima isha who chayzer bo ma'isa tiken heti as a tzadiku nifrashi made of oiler glow vetama devar who v'mash is vayr ki sora ivor v'chayim shaladam ve'inanu davuk v'nikshar im gufa adam kavon nefesh adam atzmo v'gilgo shenignasa bo ve'eshen ulad. But his kashman is davka sham tachos hadavuk. But ina yechula it says misham ad yoim amisa. So when it happens in Gilgal, that's correct. When it happens in Gilgal, you can't just leave. Masha'eno came benefesh at tzaddik shenichneset sham besoda ibar ki nechneset b'ritzaina v'yas b'ritzaina. Adam Yasmi Bitsidkaso, Kamatsari Yasmi Shekura so at slow Kidali to Khelev Maisa Ishaze, the Oimisham Ashivadira Ishaze, Minayulab, Yahush name Yahu Joyachas is guard. But if you're going to do good, the Ebor guy can come into you and he'll hang out till you die. Then you both get higher in Gan Eden, which is the secret of Tzaddikim live in their death. Ve'ima isha zeyarisha ma'isiv, as a tzaddik who moyis b'chavras so v'hilachlo, hihina inano aimin sham b'keva rak b'hashela, Kedimian ushpiza, who ha-mis achsen, bebeis bal habayis, ad zman shi yuksher be'ena ve'im eino ma'ise sham nachas ruach hoylichlu. The bottom line is, when you're going to get heavenly assistance, it's all perfectly logical, right? God's not going to, there's no gambling with God. You understand what I mean by gambling with God? Hey, Eric, I'll either give you $2,500 or you can take what's behind door number 3. What'll it be, Eric? Right? So there's no such thing with God. You're not going to say, oh, shucks, I should have gone to help out a better guy. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, you leave. If you're getting hooked up, you're only getting hooked up. God is only good. Ulasiba zoi gam kain ka'asher yikara eze yisurin ela isha ze ein asadik ahu margish mitzar klal. So when the host is going through balagan, the tzaddik doesn't suffer with it. The eino soivlam imoi yanki eino davik sharak behashela. He's not connected to you like he's there to experience your grace zachin. He's connected to you only to help, where it's appropriate. Hold on, I want to see how much longer this chapter is. Hold on. All right, we're almost done. Then we got the third chapter. So there's something called a mitzvah gedoyle, a great mitzvah. Eric, is that an Iker term? That's an Iker term. That by doing that, you'll merit an ibur, which is the non-gilgul. It's an impregnation of soul, of a nefesh of whichever tzaddik from the Rishonim. Is that the medieval rabbis? Or is it like King David? When it says tzaddik min harishonim, we're talking like a King David type soul. We're not talking Rashi. Va'az efshar liyois ki yetukem v'yizdacheh kol kach asher tashuv nafsho shel ha'isha ze madreges nefesh ha'tzadik ahu mamish. So God wants me to do a mitzvah gedola, whatever it is. And King David says, hey, I'm all about mitzvah gedola, people. So me and King David join forces, and I do the big mitzvah. My nefesh is on the level of the tzaddik's nefesh. So now I'm going to receive. So now, because I'm a King David nefesh, I'm going to receive David Katz's ruach and neshama, that a mamish, purified and ready to go, right? So it's like my nefesh is King Davidish, and I receive my David Katz ruach and neshama. You follow me? Arasha you royim li lavesh benefesh hamezuchechis. And it's going to be so fixed up that David Katz fits in the nefesh of King David. That in this scenario, you would actually think that I was King David. So by doing that mitzvah, I would really spend my life being like a quasi King David. And when I died, I would ascend to King David's canopy. You understand the analogy here? But what's the chiddush? You got to be in position to do a mitzvah gedola. God only knows what is a mitzvah gedola. All I know is it's pretty high. You better be doing a good job. Loretta, we got a 2 over here? 1 or 2? If there's a 2, what's a 2? Loretta, what are? Hello. Okay. V'da kiva famim evshar. Shetisal v'nefesh adam ashli nafsho ma'olam atzilis. V'ki hine klal adavar hoki. Anefesh min asiyah v'ruach min asiyah etzira. V'neshama min abriya. Every part of your soul goes back to its appropriate world. But somehow we end up in the highest world called Atzilus. V'amnam b'dera prat. Hine b'kol ha'olam me'elu yesh bo b'chinas naran. V'nimzaki l'fami yu be'adam naran me'asiyah abriya l'fami yu. Lo naran me'malchus me'ziran b'no me'ima l'siyah. O fami shoysham min atzira l'fami shoysham min abriya. O fami kula min atzilas nevish min nova d'zirah min ruah b'zirah min nejama me'ima. So when we say you ascend, right, if I become this King David type, it might be that I only ascend in a Sia. You understand? I'm a Klippa version of King David. It might be I go to Yetzirah. I'm like a little bit not so Klippa King David, right? So when it says ascend the root, it might not be Atzilus. You might not really be anything like King David. It might be like a kitty cat and a lion. L'fami nefesh me'asiyah roch neshama me'tzira. L'fami nefesh me'tzira roch neshama me'briya. L'fami nefesh me'briya roch neshama me'tziyos v'chino derga zeh. Kol private prashim v'kol lama arvo yom v'zatiyos v'tzira. Right? Where you go is God's providence. Kenoida ki ko ayla me'elu arba oylam is kol. Ho me ko arba oylam is atzilos briya yetzira siya ma'is me'eser spheres. L'chein eser ma'eser and eser me'eser ari mispar ein koyach b'kol mos la'arich b'kol pratim elu kulam ki atzmo mispar maskil yavim v'yakish me'atzmo. You go back to the roots. There's an infinite amount of possibilities. Your job is to pay attention, to fill in the blank, and then you will know exactly where your soul is at any given moment. What is the word in the blank that you are to fill in? Fill in the blank. You are to know your blank, to know where your soul is rooted at all times. That's correct, dear Brian. You are to know your mazel, and your mazel will tell you, if you're perceptive and you listen to it, where your soul is at all times. Right? You're by paying attention to your speech, their speech, every little nook and cranny, God is telling you where you are. Avad sarik shetidaki masha amreinu shalafami yulo naran min yetzira o min abriya ein kavaseinu laimer she'ein lo nefesh metzar asiya klal ki ein noyesh afilu ashchina nigris malchis mikneinem esir mekol shekain nefesh shala adam aval kavana seinu laimer ki a nefesh shala adam haba me'asiya niz the kach kol kach ad she'in their gesh be'erak sibat ora nefesh di'etzira shabo va'az nikra kol nefesh di'etzira v'chein al derek zeh b'shar chalukas ki afilu k'shanu emrim she'iru lo naran min atzilis ho b'yoisam is lavshin toy nefesh v'ruan neshama d'asiyah etzira bria ela she'inam oilim b'sham Kulam nitpalim v'nikrim b'shem atzilis umizet takish el shar pratim and nizkar. You'll ask the question, how am I so low that I'm from Asiya? You'll ask the question, how am I so high I'm from Atzilis? And the answer is, everything comes from Atzilis and everything rises from Asiya. Right? It's just... You're never cut off and you're never low. You got to figure out where you are. Od yesh chiluk acher v'chinas hagilgul ba'atzmai. Im be'inyan ha'mizgaga v'chinas gilgul b'kol guf she is daman. Oh, b'mizgal gil al yedei achi v'ashir zen yigra sod ha'yivum u'ki kishabol v'chinas gilgul lachach. Im be'inyan mizgaga v'chinas gilgul b'kol guf. Oh, mizgaga al yedei. What about when you totally are a Gilgul, like a carbon copy, or you're a weird case like Levirate marriage? Einam mizgalim biyachad shleishtim naran v'lo shneim yachad elo hanefesh lavada ad shetitukan v'acher kag b'Gilgul acher hanefesh aruach lavadam ad yitukan aruach v'acher kag. The Gilgul acher naran asher took in the shama v'az the shlema v'Gilgul v'nizkar le'el all afamin kol echad mishloishim negagel levada b'vnei atzmo because nizkar le'el avol kishmiz gagel yedei achiv ubo b'sod yivum yecholim mizgagel sham yachad shloishtin naran. So when you're a regular Gilgul, like a carbon copy, yeah, you got to do each one by itself. You're not getting any help in terms of easy shortcut. But if you're a Levirate, you can get it all at once. All right, it's 9:31. And I think we're going to stop with the Kabbalah there, because now we're to chapter 3. So we did 2 chapters, not too bad. I think we understand. I think if you guys were to listen to these classes again, I think you would know about 90% more about Jewish reincarnation than our famous friends on the internet. What do you guys think about that? So the people that say there's no reincarnation, what they're really saying is, oh, hi, I never learned the Arizal, and I actually have no idea what I'm talking about, but I have an opinion anyways. Because whatever they say is not what we're talking about.